Hello, hello.
Everybody. Hello. Today is Wellness Wednesday, and we have our special guest today, Dr. Scott HOLLIS out of Blue Springs, Missouri, who is willing, able, and blessed to be able to work on you. So if you guys need any help, please call Dr. HOLLIS. He is a holistic doctor from chiropractic to internal medicine. He is in Blue Springs, like I said. And so look up HOLLIS, HOLLIS, in Blue Springs, Missouri, and you will definitely find him, Scott HOLLIS. He has like a billion acronyms behind his name because he is constantly going in for education, and I absolutely love it. I've stumped him once, and I felt so proud of myself. Secondly, I would like everybody to get their phones out, please. Where's my phone? Text 10 people and tell them we are live. Tell them we are live. Ask them to get on YouTube or Facebook Live and listen to us while we do this talk, because today our talk is going to be about sugar addiction. And there are so many different names for sugar, and there's so many ways that foods turn into sugars in the body. We're going to talk about that today, the chemical imbalances and all of that. Even body odor, you guys. A lot of it is from sugar. You wouldn't believe it, but trust me, it's true, because it's a toxin, it's an inflammation thing that happens in the body, and it just blows us up, and we feel like crap after we eat it, but don't realize that this is the sugar that's causing it. Okay. All that's to say, hi, Crystal. If I don't get that out of my brain, it's going to be like bouncing in there, and I'm going to miss what I want to say. So I had to say all that stuff. So yes, please text 10 people, tell them we're live. And then Dr. HOLLIS is amazing as it speaks. And again, Crystal. All right. So we start our day on Wednesdays and our program by listening to Crystal's wonderful miracle of a testimony. And for several reasons, you guys. One is you might know someone that has the same ailment. If you know someone that has this ailment or anything having to do with the gut issue, leaky gut, anything, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, these people can reverse their situation the same way that Crystal did, but you got to be serious about it. You got to be serious about it. You got to just know that that's what you have to do, and then do it.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why we do it. The other reason is just to give you a forerunner as to why we do Wellness Wednesday. It's very important to have a purpose behind what you do. And this is one of the purposes that we have. It's her testimony. It's a miracle. And even mine, but we'll get into that maybe one day. But still, I love hearing her testimonial because it's amazing. And then thirdly, because I think it's just a wonderful way to start off the broadcast every single solitary Wednesday. We need to hear it. So Crystal, if you could please tell us your testimony, why we do Wellness Wednesday, and what you do as a profession.
All right. Well, I'm a holistic health coach and herb specialist. And, the reason I got into all this is because, years ago, I was diagnosed with an inflammatory bowel disease called ulcerative colitis. And it's basically one step down from Crohn's. A lot of more people know about Crohn's. It's more common. And so I went to the doctors because I lost over 30 pounds in a month. And this happened twice in my life. When I first found out, and then I had a flare when I was 24. When I first found out, I was 18. And both times, the doctors put me on steroids and some ulcerative colitis medications. And, things like that didn't work for me. It just actually made my pain worse. It made internal bleeding worse. Nothing was really getting better. And I was back in the hospital, again, obviously, at age 24 when I had my flare up, because I didn't take things seriously. I actually met a naturopathic doctor, and she taught me some diet, lifestyle, nutrition, and she gave me some herbs. And guess what? It was working. But like I said, I didn't take things seriously. So when I was 24, had that flare up, I lost over 30 pounds in a month, went down to 97 pounds. I was sicker than I was before. The doctor said if I was any older, like age 50 or something, I wouldn't have been alive. I would have died. I needed a blood transfusion, all kinds of things. It was more than just ulcerative colitis. My health was just deteriorating. I had to quit both my jobs. I had to move back in with my mom because I couldn't even take care of my 2-year-old daughter at the time by myself, especially not having a job, because I couldn't work because I was so sick. And anyways, I was in the hospital, and again, we done the ulcerative colitis medications and steroids, and then this time they talked about chemo. and doing things like that, and possibly surgery, and saying that, you know, 10 years from when you were diagnosed, you could possibly develop colon cancer and all these things. And at 24, that's really scary. And so that scared me enough to take my health into my own hands. I went back to the naturopathic doctor. I said, I've got to learn and know everything there is to know. Like, I want to know the ins and outs. I don't just want to know about my problems. I want to learn everything, because I want to be able to heal my body, because what the doctors were doing wasn't working. I was pale white, dark circles, you know, just bones and skin, and I didn't feel good. I couldn't even go to the grocery store. I mean, that was a difficult task for me to even leave the house. So I took matters in my own hands, and I listened to her. I got educated by many other naturopathic doctors and people with PhDs, people that I respect highly. And you know what? I learned what I could. I got certified for stuff, and I started helping myself. I started getting better. I started healing myself when a doctor said, you can't cure this, that you're going to have this for the rest of your life. And now I don't have it, and I cured it. And they're telling me they don't understand. Well, it's because food is medicine. And that's what we want to teach. We want to educate that food is medicine, and that you can do things holistically, with natural ways, with non-invasive ways to help your body get to a homeostasis, to a balance. I believe everybody can do that. And I've seen it happen with many clients, friends, family. And that's what we're here to share. Me and Kathy have that in common, where we want to help educate all kinds of communities, and just get out there and help them with holistic lifestyle, and help them get their life back, and instead of feeling tired and sick all the time. You know, there's a way to be happy again, and feel that joy of life again, and without feeling pain.
Yeah. Not always having aches and pains and things like
Right.
that. Can you bring Dr. Hollis on real quick? Because I want to say this next statement with him on there. Because the next thing, hi, Dr. Hollis, look at that smile.
I love you guys.
I love you too. Hi, I'm so glad to have you on.
Yeah. So I know Crystal said that everybody can, you know, do this, and she's absolutely right. Everybody can heal their bodies again, but my heart is in the inner city. A lot of people can't get to fresh fruits,
Right.
fresh vegetables, clean meats. And one day we're going to partner up with some people that can help us get these inner cities to be able to have the fruits and vegetables that they need to be able to combat a lot of this stuff. So I just want you guys to know that that's my heart, that's Crystal's heart. And I see Dr. Hollis nodding because he knows it's true. You know, I guess I didn't realize throughout my entire life I had a grocery store within walking distance, and a lot of people do not.
Right.
It's amazing when you don't have that. So it's really a travesty, actually. It's a travesty not to be able to have that kind of nutrition right at your hands. But today we're going to talk about sugar and the addiction to sugar. Did you know that sugar is 10 times more addictive than cocaine?
Right.
Absolutely.
And
It lights up the brain, just like
3 different parts of the brain, whereas cocaine and tobacco and alcohol only affect really 1 part of the brain.
Oh wow. And I didn't even know that.
So it's basically 30 times more addictive. Which is why more people get addicted, because you can be genetically predisposed in 1, 2, or 3 of the 3 parts of the brain. So some people can quit easier than others, and some people get it really badly.
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
I got
amazing
excited.
because no, I wanted you
No,
to say that.
that's
That's
true.
100% what I wanted was for you to chime in right there.
Okay.
But I was just talking to Crystal this morning about I went cold turkey. Going cold turkey is not easy, and there is a physical withdrawal from sugar, you guys.
There is.
I didn't, when I say sugar, I didn't do sugar. I didn't do carbohydrates. So I cut out breads, pastas. I cut out everything, including sugars and dairy at the same time. There's a lot of sugar in dairy, you guys.
Yeah.
They add that stuff in.
Yeah.
And so you have to know. So I when I did that though, my hair started falling out and my teeth felt like they were going to fall out. I'll never forget it, but I got over it.
Yeah.
So you can do this cold turkey. It's probably the best way to do it. But Dr. Hollis,
Yes.
do you have any And then after I ask you this, Crystal can come back on the herbal side. But do you have any suggestions as to how people can come off of sugars more easily than I did?
So yes, I will try not to talk for the whole time, but this is a very big subject. It's personal to me and my family history, my family medical history, my own past. My children, we're trying to prevent them from having any of the problems that my family has had. And so this is near and dear and personal to me. But I want to go back and I want to say something based on what Crystal said, because she was so right. I want to expand on it. Number one, food is medicine. Right. But I want to expand on that. There are good medicines and there are bad medicines.
Right.
And everything you eat does something to the inside of your body.
Yep.
Whether that something is beneficial or detrimental is going to depend on a bunch of factors. Most of them we can spot them, control them, and help you avoid the detrimental, but it has to be part of a healthcare plan. It also includes your genetics. So what I teach people all the time is, I hate to be cliche, but you are what you eat. You've heard us say that. But people seem to not even fully understand that it also means that something that you ate that you thought was going to be good for you may turn out to cause other problems, and vice versa. So we teach people that every time you put something in your mouth or even on your body, it will do something to you. We want to try to make sure that it's the good kind of medicine, not the bad kind of medicine.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing. In the long run, abstinence, avoidance, and taking care to limit to the best of your ability the sugar, the carbs, and more importantly, the processed sugars and carbs will be the answer to your long-term health and avoiding both autoimmune disease like Crystal, but also things like diabetes, which is the obvious thing people associate with sugar. But here's the funny thing. That's a whole nother talk. Diabetes
is a whole nother talk. We need to have that talk actually.
Next time.
Next time for sure.
Diabetes has nothing to do with sugar. High sugar is a secondary side effect of the cellular membrane disorder that happens on the cell wall from the diabetes mellitus condition. So I tell everybody, we're just monitoring a secondary side effect in another state when the problem is right here on your front porch. And so we don't want to get sugars associated with diabetes, but sugars will cause diabetes in terms of the way people understand that it's an ongoing process that takes about 15 years to really develop diabetes. Now, back to my point. The diet control of sugar intake is at least 60% of the challenge. And going cold turkey is the best answer, because as much as the shock and awe and the withdrawals does make you seem distraught, even frustrated, withdrawals are no fun. Major body changes that happen, what we call a healing crisis, is never really fun. But it also triggers a healing process, and it will make your brain pay attention more to what you're trying to change if you go hardcore cold turkey. We call it a shock and awe campaign. So you want to surprise your body. You want it to be a surprise party, except for no cake, no ice cream, and no potato chips. And you want your body to not understand why you're doing it. You don't want to drag out the transition over a 3-month period and keep saying, well, I'm going to start this tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do better. No, you really need to just sucker punch it right in the face.
I agree. I was just talking to Kathy about this, and I was saying, for instance, someone who's doing an actual, like, drug like cocaine or like meth or something like that, They're not going to say, if they're going to totally quit and they're getting rehab or whatever's going on, they're getting the help they need. They're not going to say, oh, I'm just going to do a little bit each day until I can wean myself off this meth.
Right.
No, they don't say that. They have to quit cold turkey because they're going to keep doing it if they don't quit cold turkey. And I also wanted to piggyback off you earlier from when you said we are what we eat. Not only we are what we eat, but we are what we digest, and we are what we assimilate. You have to understand that, because if we don't digest, it's turning into acid. So we turn, that turns into what we are. So that the sugar and carbs turn straight into sugar. There's all kinds of names for sugar, and it spikes insulin, and it causes so many different things. I did want to share real fast a study I saw, and I thought it was really important because this makes me not want to touch sugar, period. So I don't know if this might help somebody quit sugar a little bit, but sometimes knowing the facts, can help. So this is a research study done by Loma Linda University, which participants were fed different forms of sugar, found that effectiveness of white blood cells, our immune system cells, which fight infection, decrease up to 50% after 1 to 2 hours of eating sugar and can last up to 5 hours. So we wonder why our immune system is compromised. We wonder why we can't fight off infection, like little diseases, little infections. And it's because most of the standard American diet consists of sugar and high carb diet, which also causes high cholesterol, high blood pressure, which also are cursors to diabetes, like we were just talking about. All these things are from insulin spikes and causing insulin resistance.
Well, what I've learned. Oh, go ahead, doctor.
I got to say something about this.
Say it. I
have patients all the time that come in with blood work. Either we've ordered it or their other doctors ordered it, and they have what's called a lipid panel.
Yes.
And lipid panel means fats.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to talk about cholesterol all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, the doctor wants me to take medicine for my cholesterol. And I have to explain to them that cholesterol does not cause heart attacks and strokes. That myth has been debunked for over 45 years. But part of that lipid panel that's not cholesterol is something called a triglyceride.
Mm-hmm.
A triglyceride is a very acidic sugar that you ate that you did not burn for energy within about 45 minutes of eating it. And then it turns into a triglyceride, which is a very sticky fat that rolls down your arteries and your veins. And that's what causes heart disease, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and heart attack. So sugar is the root cause of all of the major causes of death in America, other than cancer. But you can also track cancer to being a side effect of high sugar. So
yes,
technically,
cancer feeds on sugar.
Right. So cancer only grows if it has food. If it can only feed on sugar and you're eating sugar, you will grow cancer. Just like if you grow mold or mildew in your shower. It's just it's an if-then situation.
And can we mention something? Can we be honest here? Cancer, the big companies that do chemo and stuff for people to fight cancer. I don't even know what they're called. But the cancer doctors, they tell their patients to go eat ice cream and cookies. If that's all you can eat, go ahead and eat it. What are you telling them? Go ahead and die. That's what I hear. Let's be honest here.
Well, doctors are not nutritionists, and so they don't understand some doctors don't understand the chemical reaction of sugar in the body. So that's why, and it's also soothing, and it also helps people feel better, which is also a trap, by the way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all comfort food is a trap. So just to let you know, I am going to back up what the doctors just don't know. They're not saying that consciously. But what you hear as a nutritionist is, yes, they're telling you to go on a diet. So I'm clarifying that. But this is the thing about the SAD diet, which is a standard American diet, you guys, is the first thing they tell you to do is eat a lot of high carbohydrates. All those high carbohydrates turn into sugar in the body. They claim it gives you energy throughout the day. Well, it's also and I'll have Dr. Hollis talk about that energy, because it's a crash, you guys. It's a peak and it's a crash. The other thing is that we need to all go back to only 3 times eating a day, not 6, not 5, not even 4. Cut the snacks out in the middle of the day. We need to go back to breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have dinner stop at 6 p.m. so that we can get that fast in for 16, 14, 16, 18 hours until we wake up again to have our breakfast. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I cut all of that stuff out of my diet, I had salads for breakfast with meats, like chickens or with chicken or shrimp or salmon. I had that for breakfast, you guys. I had green leafy for breakfast.
That's how we should be eating. That's how we should be eating.
That's how we should be eating. And then lunch was just another smaller meal than my dinner. And then my dinner was my dinner. And then I didn't eat after that. And it was very successful. So when you're eating well and when you're eating the way you should be eating, you're never hungry, really. And you should be drinking plenty of water in between those times. And then you go back to that cycle of eating well, and you won't have obese kids. One thing I also heard today was that we're having 2-year-olds having diabetes, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, facts.
And not type 1.
And high cholesterol.
And I don't mean type 1. I mean type 2. Type 2 diabetes is all on us.
I'm treating a 8-year-old that weighs 286 pounds.
Wow.
And it's very sad. And
yeah.
What's really sad is that the mother didn't bring the child in for obesity or for diabetes, which he has both. She brought him in for joint pain and didn't want to hear anything I had to say about the weight or the diet. She thought everything she did for him was perfectly fine. And I understand that. She thought that if he says, "Mom, I'm hungry," she should feed him.
Yeah.
But what she didn't know until I educated her was about the hormones in the stomach that you've never heard of, like ghrelin and leptin and adiponectin. And these hormones respond to the stretching of your stomach, and they tell your brain that it needs to be filled up again. And to keep it really simple for today, you can reverse that. And you're not starving your kid. You're just giving them the appropriate amount of calories versus the 6,000 or 8,000 a day that he was eating. Once I educated her on the science of it, then she starts sharing things like her whole family has had these problems, and she just assumed he was big because everyone in the family was big.
Absolutely.
And I have my little testimonial that I won't do today, but my father was 5'8" and 110 pounds soaking wet his entire life. My right leg is 5'8" and weighs 110 pounds. But
I can identify.
He also had muscles as big as my leg. And he could bench press a tractor on the farm that I grew up on. But what we didn't know is that he carried a recessive gene that caused me to have all the problems that I had. People see pictures of the two of us and they don't even think we're related.
Wow.
So I have struggled with these things my entire life, but just assuming that it runs in the family or doesn't run in the family is not something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And all of this is preventable, and the earlier you start, the better.
Well, I've always said I have my mother and my father's bodies. I mean, I just do. When I see myself, I see both of them. So my overweightness is totally genetic. Genetic. It is. I see them. So I have the propensity of that. And so just to let you know, my sisters who don't have my father as their father, because their father is different, don't have what I have. But I look at my brothers and myself, and I see our dad.
Yep.
So
I got mine from a recessive gene from him, and I got an active dominant gene from my mother. So I got a double whammy.
Yeah, I was very upset that I did not have a flat stomach after my children, after my sisters had flat stomachs coming out of the doggone hospital. So
I have
what?
to say, oh, sorry, I just interrupted, didn't I?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I just was like, I was curious because, like, okay, so we are taught that our genetics do affect us, but we can also change our genetics.
Right.
And I feel like I'm living proof of that because actually both sides of my family,
Yeah.
all of them have obesity.
Yeah.
I have a lot of uncles and aunts and my dad even, and my grandparents, all of them, both sides, all have diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and everybody's obese. I have not been that at all in my entire life.
You're 100% correct. And you did it early enough. And then you helped your daughter not follow the same lines.
Right.
I'm in my 60s and trying to reverse
Right.
what's
Yeah.
already there. And it's so,
You
therefore,
don't
it's
look
harder
60.
because of the hormonal things. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I want to piggyback a little bit off of like when we were talking about like a child being obese and stuff, because that I just want to say something about, like, there's not a spot on our body where we don't bleed, correct? Like if we poke ourselves or something, we're going to bleed. So that means the bigger we are, that means that our heart is working harder to pump blood to all those areas.
Right.
So our heart is overworked, and we wonder why we have risk of heart disease and things.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that out there, that obesity really affects the heart, and
Yes.
our heart is like the most vital organ.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So
Never
that's
stop.
just something. That's just something to think about. That it's not about, being overweight or underweight. It's about being healthy.
Yeah.
And being the right size. The balance between everything, and just.
Well, and children aren't moving now. Well, none of us are really moving like we should. But children aren't getting out playing like I did when I was a child. They're not doing that anymore. They're sitting in front of the computer playing games. And so even we had to get a game where we're moving, do the Wii. And so you can bowl and you can dance and you can do all this stuff now. They even had to do that because they saw that people were sitting still doing nothing but playing a game. It's just not the same as it was when we went out playing on asphalt every day.
Yep.
So that's part of it. But getting back to the sugar that happens into our body, the way that it works in the body is how. When we ingest sugar, how does it turn into fat? How does it turn into acid? How does it turn into all of those things that are detrimental to us?
Well, can I take that, Crystal?
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, going back to the energy point, the carbohydrate, which all sugars are a form of carbohydrate, that is one of the 3 types of fuel or making energy that we ingest in our diet that your body can use for that fuel. The other is protein and fat. Carbohydrates, each gram gives us 4 kilocalories, what you would call 4 calories, but it's actually 4 kilocalories of potential energy. The carb, the sugar, is not actually energy. It's just the fuel. It has to be processed, burned, assimilated, as Crystal said, and that's assuming that you digest it correctly.
Exactly.
But it is made by the plant as an acidic compound to begin with. Our bodies are supposed to be naturally alkaline. So by putting it in the first place, it is a shock to your system. So your body prevents it from interacting with your body until you're ready to burn it for sugar. And that's important, because what people don't understand is that it's running around in your body until you make a demand to use it for energy, which means you move your muscles. That's the demand that we're talking about. Or maybe the cells of your liver decide that they need to do some sort of an extra process, but it has to be a demand for your metabolism to fire before the sugar is called in to be used as a fuel source, to be burned. The whole rest of the time, it's floating around causing damage because it's acidic. It's not supposed to be there. So
Right.
the damaging part of diabetes mellitus, when you hear about diabetic retinopathy and diabetic neuropathy and kidney disease or kidney failure, is because of the damage of the sugar that's acidic floating around and undoing your alkalinity of the pH of your body. And there's
That's
another
right.
point. Cancer only grows in an acidic environment. If you avoid sugar and acid and keep yourself alkaline, you don't have to worry about getting cancer.
That's another thing. Can I just chime in real fast?
Yeah,
what people don't understand, every time we eat the sugar and our insulin spikes, it's causing the oxidative stress, which is what he's talking about. The oxidative stress is what damages cells in the body.
Right.
So eating sugar damages cells in the body, which causes all these things of inflammation our body's constantly trying to heal. So we have to have antioxidants to help this oxidative stress that's on our heart.
Yep.
And all. Okay.
So
my neck
sugar
is going to get sore. My neck is going to get sore from nodding in agreement because you say all the best things.
So sugar is a free radical?
It creates free radicals as it's being processed.
Okay.
That part is natural, but it also can cause other processes to go the wrong direction when it's not burned properly, if it sits there too long, and that creates even worse types of free radicals, which cause oxidative stress.
So is it also a toxin?
Yeah. Sugar is definitely a toxin.
Our body is not designed to have a high amount of sugar or carbohydrate every day.
Yeah. Speaking of that.
Well, one more thing. Crystal said earlier that the government tells us on their stupid food pyramid that 60% of your calories every day are supposed to come from carbs. That's not correct. It's
veggies and fruit.
Correct.
The biggest part should be veggies and fruit.
Right. Well, and the non-carbohydrate.
That's why I had salad for breakfast.
Salad for breakfast is great.
I did, yeah.
And dinner.
Yeah.
A light, non-bulky breakfast and dinner is very important.
Actually, I had more energy eating that way instead of eating the pancakes and the biscuits because that drained my energy, you guys.
Yeah.
I felt sleepy afterwards. But I didn't when I was eating salads. And people laughed at me at work when I would eat a salad.
Your body takes a lot more energy to digest all those carbs than they do to digest those plant-based foods that are easier to absorb into our, the nutrients for our cells and what we need. Yeah. And plants have enzymes in them that helps us to digest it anyway. So it has enough enzymes in it to digest that plant, where carbs and things like the enzymes are all taken out. So how are we going to digest that? What we have inside might not be enough. You know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing I want to say to you guys before you bring up your next slide is when you're eating, pay attention to the texture in the mouth. If it's getting pasty, it's going to be pasty throughout the rest of your digestive system and everything else. It's going to cling to the walls of your stomach. It's going to cling to the walls of your intestines, all of that. So pay attention to how it feels in your mouth. It should gross you out is what I'm getting at. Second of all, when you're eating leafy vegetables, it will digest completely in your mouth if you eat it like you should.
Properly.
If you do those 32 chews, like I always say, it should totally be a liquid before you swallow it. And it will be gone before the 32 chews.
It will.
But just to let you know, pay attention to how pastas taste. Not taste, but how they feel in your mouth.
I always say that. I always say you don't put pasta or rice down or potato, things down your sink, right? Because that's going to clog your drain. It's sticky. It swells. That's what it's doing in your colon.
Yep.
Just FYI. That's just my little.
I like that. That's good to remind people of that.
Oh
yeah, our colon are like our pipes in our house.
If it stays on your plate when you're finished eating, it's going to stay in your system the same way. If you're eating a salad and it's done, or if you eat vegetables and it's off of your plate, trust and believe me, it's not going to. If you have to scrub something off of your plate, just think of what it's doing on the inside of your body.
Oh man.
And we talk about sauces and everything where you have to scrape it with your fork to eat it. And then if you let it sit for 5 minutes and it dries and you go to the sink, it doesn't rinse off until you do the rinsing or the scrubbing for a long time. What do you think it's going to do inside your gut when you heat it up and then you put it through a bunch of twists and turns?
Exactly.
Right. That's
All
right.
right. Let's see what the next slide is.
All right.
You
So
have a
I have
slide?
some different ones. Yeah. Just symptoms of blood sugar imbalances. If you're feeling hungry, even when you just ate, you're craving sweets. You have skin breakouts such as acne. Acne is a huge one with
That's
sugar.
right.
Eczema, psoriasis, all kinds of things. Rapid aging, mood swings, and then
Maybe that's why I don't look like I'm 60. Go ahead.
hey. And then it says, did you know that paying attention to your sugar and starch intake, eating plenty of healthy fats and vegetables, and getting enough exercise can all dramatically improve your insulin sensitivity and reduce our risk of heart disease and other metabolic issues? And when it says other metabolic issues, it's meaning like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all kinds of anything with the heart, all kinds of different things. And like we talk about, food is medicine. Food is information that controls your gene expression, hormones, and metabolism. When you eat the right foods, you balance blood sugar, restore hormonal imbalance, and reduce stress damaging impact. And then I also wanted to show just this. This is brain fog food. So a lot of people actually have brain fog. Can't remember where they laid their keys. Where's my phone? Things like that.
What was I saying?
Yeah, what was I saying again? I mean, we call them brain farts, whatever. Just kidding. But refined carbohydrates, refined sugars, aspartame. So aspartame, it's not only that, it's all artificial sweeteners. Aspartame, sucralose. And then you have alcohol here, fish high in mercury. You would need to try to get wild caught if possible. And then vegetable oils. Make sure that you're using more like a organic grapeseed oil or avocado instead of no canola. Canola is usually GMO, and soybean oil is really bad for you. And then trans fats, we need to stay away from those. Those are what cause part of the cause of high cholesterol. And then ultra processed foods, stay away from the box stuff. Cook whole real foods. That have actual nutrients in them. And then tips for beating sugar addiction. Eat, like I said, eat real food. You want to stabilize your blood sugar levels, because when your blood sugar levels are stable, your hormones are also in balance. And when your hormones are in balance, you sleep better. Exercise can help promote all these great things for you, like sleeping better, less brain fog, and then also helping reduce your stress, find a way to balance that. And then supplements can always help implementing that. For cravings or whatever you have for sugar cravings, maybe you need some chromium. Chromium is a real good supplement to help with sugar imbalances in sugars, and also cinnamon's a great one. And then I also want to talk about our genetic code. It evolved at a time when we were eating 20 teaspoons of sugar a year. That means our insulin response can handle vastly lower levels of sugar than 152 pounds of sugar and 146 pounds of flour, which converts to sugar, that we eat on average every year. The average American eats 146 pounds of flour and 152 pounds of sugar every year, where it used to be only 20 teaspoons. And we get that sometimes in just, that's even less than a bottle of Coke or something.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many teaspoons are in every can of Coke?
8, I thought.
I think it's 8 or 12.
Yeah. I was always told 8, but that's still too many.
And who drinks the can anymore? A lot of people get the 12 ounces or, whatever.
Actually, that's why they made them so small now. If you notice, there are some that are like 4 ounces. That's why they made them that small, or 8 ounce cans of Coke now. 12, because they were
12
Is it 12?
12.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
one per ounce.
Yeah. It's a lot of sugar. And sometimes people have more than one soda a day.
And let me tell you guys, after you cut the sugars out of your body, first of all, you don't crave them. Okay, so the craving goes away.
Right.
Secondly, when you eat real food, it tastes so much better. You have to your taste buds are going to reset. I know that's not the right way of saying it, but they're going to Yeah,
your
and they're
taste
going to
buds.
revert back to being able to taste all the sweetness in every food. And it is amazing how blueberries can taste like candy,
Yeah,
how strawberries can taste like candy, how
true.
carrots can taste so well. I mean, it was like, what? I'm tasting food now because it dulls your sense of taste to the point where you have to have it more.
Yeah,
The more that you have, the more that you need. So when you cut that out, you don't need it anymore, so you don't crave it as much. Did I say that the right way, Dr.
yeah, I
Hollis?
think that's
Yes.
fine.
And
Okay.
I want to add something big to your slide about the most common symptoms of the high sugar. In my 17 years of practice, the most common thing, especially early on, before people even suspect sugar, is what they will come in and call fatigue.
Yes,
But it's not the same type of fatigue as you would call chronic fatigue syndrome. This is an intense tiredness that hits you suddenly right after you've eaten, like
yes,
you need a nap.
yes.
Just like when you have tryptophan on Thanksgiving from the turkey, you feel that immediate
That
need
coma,
to
turkey coma.
fall asleep. Some people fall asleep at their job or school, or even while they're driving.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
And sometimes this is the only sign, even before their blood work shows any abnormal blood sugar reading. It's the weird, sudden tiredness. They can't get up from the chair, they
Yeah.
can't move.
We call it the itis, Dr. Hollis. So if
Itis.
anybody ever
I got
comes
that
in and
itis.
talks to you about the itis, that's what we call the itis. But that's exactly what I said, you guys, when I was talking about eating those high carbohydrates in the mornings versus the salad in the morning. I already
Yeah.
stated that the energy was just, ugh. But then when
Right.
I ate the salads, I had energy and I didn't feel that way. The other real big side effect that's not on there are night sweats.
Okay.
Yes, that's because it throws off the hormonal
That's the
And
hormonal.
so the
hormonal
women that
imbalance.
think that they're having having these hormonal problems, they are having those hormonal problems.
They are.
But the night sweats are having, if you cut sugar out,
Yes.
98.9% of the time, your night sweats are going to go away.
That's
I
right.
promise you. It's absolutely happened to me. And what do you call those? The heat, hot flashes.
Yeah, hot flashes.
Hot flashes is another thing that goes away. I don't get hot flashes, you guys. I don't. It's because I cut my sugars out.
That's right. I had one last slide. It kind of goes with what we're saying, I believe. Yeah. So signs of insulin resistance. When you have abdominal obesity, like we said, fatigue after meals, you have more sugar cravings, like we were talking about earlier, high triglycerides. So I want to talk about this right here. There's HDL and there's LDL. When your HDL is low and your LDL is high, that is a problem. Because your HDL is supposed to be higher and your LDL is supposed to be lower. So for H for high, L for low. And then
cholesterol, you guys, cholesterols.
Yep, different cholesterols. And then high blood pressure, blood clotting problems. I have a lot of people lately having blood clotting problems, and it's because of the sugar intake. And then it creates chronic inflammation. You always have pain somewhere in your joints and your shoulders and your knees, hands.
Absolutely.
Wherever you're using the most,
Absolutely.
probably your joints the most, is probably where you're going to have the most problems, just because your body's requiring energy there, and the sugar is taken away from that.
And it's acidic.
Yes.
So it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. Yeah. I want you guys to really pay attention to your instincts.
Right.
Because I just went to the doctor, not Dr. Hollis, but my family practitioner. He wants to put me on high cholesterol medicine. I told him absolutely not. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah.
We looked at my numbers before. They were 170. Now they're 150. And I said, see, they're even coming down. So I'm not going to go on that.
Yep.
So I want you to pay attention to your instincts and get good counsel, though. Don't just not take stuff. Change your diet, change your exercise, which I need to do. I know I do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't. I have to change my exercise routine in order for my body, my lymphatic system to do what it needs to do. And that's going to also help with all the other stuff. Also, if you detox your liver, you will not crave sugars. I can't stress that enough. If you detox your liver, you will not crave sugars. And I don't know why that is, except for that it's cleaning you out.
Well, and your liver also has a lot to do with your hormones. Liver has, like I say all the time, over 500 functions in the body. So you're giving your liver a break when you stop eating all that sugar. You're helping it to function and create the enzymes and the hormones and everything work like it's supposed to become in balance when you stop eating all that sugar. Because when you have less inflammation, the liver is able to work better, you know. So just a little simple breaking everything down.
Anything else you have for us, Dr. Hollis?
Well, I want to make sure that I expand on Crystal's comment real quick. The most important thing about all this is going back to the addictive nature. The brain gets patterned, it gets protocoled into thinking that it has to maintain this level, even if it's dangerous to the body. The brain doesn't care that it's dangerous, it cares that you maintain that level. So part of breaking that cycle is making those changes, even just a few. And then as soon as you see the better results, use that as your motivation to make more changes and make them more permanent. And then you can break that cycle and all of those other health risks will basically melt away.
Actually, the more you give your brain, the more it wants. That's what addiction is all about. It wants more. It continues to add. Okay, so I'm not satisfied at this level. Give me this level. That's why people overdose all the time. You can't overdose on sugars. What happens is the other stuff happens. The arthritis happens. The digestive system happens. The inflammation in the body happens. That's what overdosing on sugars are. What did you ever find? There are over 200 different names of sugar, you guys, on the market. Over 200 different names for sugar. High fructose.
It's because companies, they don't want to put the first ingredient as sugar on their label because, you know, the first ingredient is what's mostly in that product, correct? Well, they just find a bunch of different sugars to add to it so it doesn't look like sugar is the first ingredient. So that's why there's over 200 different names for sugar.
Right.
Which is crazy.
If it ends in OL or OSE, those are sugars.
Glucose.
Some of them are good. Some of them are good. But most of them are going to be detrimental.
So, and a good alternative to sugar is monk fruit.
Yes, monk fruit, stevia, erythritol.
Right.
Some people have a hard time, though, digesting certain ones. So sometimes monk fruit is a better choice for most people. Some people can be a little bit, I think if you're allergic to a certain weed outside, I don't think it's ragweed, but it's something, then you're probably a little like sensitive to stevia or erythritol or something like that. But, you know, just try a little bit at a time to see what you feel like and see how it goes. Those are the ones that don't spike insulin. Even artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, like the yellow and pink and blue packets. Those are the ones that actually still spike insulin. They trick your brain.
They make you crave sugar.
They do. They trick your brain like it's sugar, so you want more sugar still. So, and you still feel hungry and things like that.
We recommend xylitol with an X over.
That's a very good one.
Over erythritol or the sorbitol. Those are all three sugar alcohols, so they are not going to create an insulin spike, or your body doesn't treat it as calories from sugar.
Right.
But they are sugars, but they're the healthy plant sugars, not the bad kind that gets processed.
Not artificial.
But
and
it's
also, I
also
think allulose.
Xylitol is antimicrobial. It actually kills the bad bacteria, can help you prevent cavities. But it's really great for kids. But also it's 10 or 12 times sweeter than sugar, and it doesn't have a nasty aftertaste. And most importantly, it is very hypoallergenic. It doesn't react with people's allergies.
I do want to mention with the xylitol, because I had this experience because I used to have a really bad overgrowth of yeast. And like he was saying, it's antimicrobial. It kills the yeast. So once you've got rid of most of the yeast, you'll be fine. But start off slow with xylitol because sometimes it can cause a little bit of digestive upset, maybe some loose stools possibly, just because it's killing that yeast off. And that means when you kill off the bad bacteria, those bad endotoxins, the bad bacteria creates like gases in the stomach, creating like bubbly or something like that, or bloating. And that's what's going to create that upset digest. So just know that it's actually killing the bad stuff. And if you keep killing the bad stuff, it'll stop at some point, and just introduce it slowly.
One last thing, a little bit of a side note, something I want to add. We do believe in my clinic that it's very important to break that fast that your liver has been keeping you alive for that 12 or 18 hours of fasting. And that if you're going to eat any sugars or carbohydrates during the entire day, you should eat them with your breakfast meal, because that's when your brain needs sugar and you need to give your liver a break. So if you put croutons or dressing on your salad, which I do not recommend either one, I don't recommend dairy like ranch dressing or croutons, but if you're going to put carbs in a meal, put the carbs in your morning breakfast after you break that fast.
Mm-hmm.
For example, broccoli, asparagus, some of the green leafy vegetables actually do have some carbohydrates in them. Snow peas, things like that. You can use that for breakfast, and that gives your brain the boost that it needs, and it gives your liver some time off.
Yep, that's true. Love it.
Just wanted to add that.
That's good information. Oh,
I try.
I love it.
Oh my God, you guys, we're giving you so much today to think about. We've given you so much to think about. But
Call
it's
for
all
more.
good food for thought. Go ahead, Pat. What did you say, Doctor?
Call for more info.
Oh,
yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And we
And
appreciate
listen
it.
to this over and over again, you guys, and share this video with other people, because it's very, very important that you do that. The other thing that I did want to mention is that infertility has a lot to do with your sugar intake.
That's true.
Who tells you that?
PCOS.
I don't think you did. I don't remember hearing it, but infertility has a lot to do with your sugar intake. But go ahead, Dr. Hollis, take over.
I thought when she said hormones, I thought I said infertility and hormone imbalances and PMS and acne and PMDD. So
yep. And it
very, very, very highly linked to sugar.
Okay. Well, if he said it before, I'm saying it afterwards. That means that you need to hear it. So anybody that's out there having any issues with acne or infertility or any of those hormonal imbalances, then that means that you really need to probably cut your sugars out and help your body heal itself. That's the reason why there's a fast at night, you guys. And when we're sleeping, our body is trying to heal itself. So that's why it's really important not to eat after 6 p.m. And I've really been trying to do that. And I've been pretty successful to some extent. There was a doctor that said only eat when the sun is up, don't eat when the sun is down. That's really hard to do in the wintertime. So just cut your time at 6 p.m. like we did when we were kids. We stopped eating at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah. My mom would ring the bell on the farm at 5 o'clock, and she cleared the table at 6 if you were done or not.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how we used to do.
Yeah.
So,
but for people who don't think they can beat their sugar addiction, I've never had anyone fail to do that if they follow all the recommendations of our treatment plan.
That's right.
We can help anybody. It doesn't matter if you think you're too far gone, or you're really super bad, or you already have 7 different health conditions. We can help. We can reverse part of that, if not all of it. And it's very important that the sooner you start, the better.
You know what, Dr. Hollis? People don't change their habits until there's a health crisis.
Usually, right.
I'm saying guilty.
I'm telling you, I have not known anybody to change anything unless there was a health crisis. Yeah. I'm just telling you. I had a conversation with a young lady the other evening. Her children are having issues. She's having issues. Husband having issues. I said, we can help you. Do you think that you guys will start by changing your diets? Absolutely not. Then I can't help you. I can't help you.
And food is prevention.
I have a niece that's obese that has to have hip surgery. Are you going to change your eating habits? No, then I can't help you. And I'm not even saying it to lose the weight, you guys. I'm saying it to get the body ready for the surgery.
Right.
I'm saying to get the body ready for whatever surgeries that you have to have. And it has nothing to do with weight loss. It has everything to do with getting that good soil to help the body heal itself. And it's just not, people are not willing to change anything until there's a health crisis and they see that their end is happening and, oh, I can reverse this. Okay, then let me try it. So until you get that mindset changed, I don't know what to tell you, actually. I don't.
What did you say? Crystal, you were muffled that last comment you made. What was that?
I don't know.
So last thing, Kathy asked me to specify the table of contents of what we do for treatment plans here. There are major dietary important factors that we have to take into consideration, but we customize every single case. So it's hard for me to say what they are, but there are diet changes and there are exercise changes and there are stress management changes. And we use a special blend of protocols of nutritional products and herbs and minerals to fight that and to boost your metabolism. We call it the 4 chair legs because if you don't address all 4 chair legs, if you cut off even one of those 4, even if you do great on the other 3, your chair will always fall over. You will always fall off the bandwagon. So diet, exercise, stress management, and nutritional supplementation to boost the body's ability to fight the insulin resistance and deal with the sugar.
We got to start with the brain first, though.
That's right. That's right. You know, I just want to say, you know, how we were talking about addiction to sugar and things like that. You know what I'm addicted to? I'm addicted to feeling better. Because once you get that taste, honestly, once you get the taste of feeling better, and for instance, people telling me that I look like I'm my daughter's sister or something, that makes me feel good. And that's because of what I eat. I feel like because you have clear skin when you're eating and drinking the right water and, you know, all these things. So yeah, I'm addicted to feeling better. And if it's the food that's making me do that and the lifestyle, then I'm addicted to that.
Yeah, I like it. Crystal and I went to Costco yesterday and we bought all kind of fruits and vegetables, and one day we're going to film it. Neither one of us felt well yesterday enough for you guys to see us on camera, but yeah, we are going to do that because I feel like that's one of the things that we need to do to help you guys, is to teach you what to see on your the back of your labels. Actually, if you have to read the back of a label, don't buy it.
Right. if it's more than 5 things, don't buy it.
Yeah.
If you see anything you can't pronounce, don't buy it.
Avocado. List of ingredients. Avocado. Done.
Where was my invitation to this Costco trip?
You work all the time. You're working. Work hours.
Not on Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, I said yesterday. I'm sorry. I meant Saturday. Oh. Yeah, we went on Saturday or Sunday. We went Wednesday.
I was on a beach on Saturday, so.
See, that's what we need to do. You know what? Crystal and I are going to go on a beach one day and just broadcast from there and say, eat your hearts out.
Yeah. I've got the perfect beach. We can go to the beach.
I'm okay with that. As we have
reception, we're good.
All right, you guys. Well, this was our Wellness Wednesday to you. Hopefully that you are well this Wednesday. And if you're not, the three of us are more than happy to get you well. Please be ready to work when you come to us, though. We are not going to chase you down to change your habits. We're not going to do it. You got to figure it out. You got to, in your own mind, fix what needs to be fixed and then do it, because chasing people down to try to help them help themselves is exhausting. And
Right.
I'm not the one. I'm just not.
Not the one.
But we are more than willing to help you if you are more than willing to get the help. And that's what we're here for. So let me just tell you that. I've talked to so many people here lately that are not willing to change what needs to be changed in order to help themselves. And it's mind-boggling to me when I'm a living testimonial as to why I don't have arthritis pains anymore, as to why my blood sugars are leveling out, as to why things are happening good in my life. We do this every Wednesday. I send this link out for people to see for the testimony in the beginning so that they can see that food can actually help them. And for people to not grasp it, it's mind-boggling to me when they have the chance to, when they can absolutely do it. So just be prayerful and mindful for yourselves. You don't have to die early. Cancer does not have to happen, by the way.
Mm-mm.
We act like it's something that is placed upon us and we have nothing to do with it, or that we can't change it, or that it's just there. No, you guys, you don't have to get cancer. It doesn't have to happen. And so please understand and hear me on all of that. We have so many ways to help you in every way that you have an ailment, from the cellular level, not from the symptomatic level, but from the root cause. And that's what we're here for. All three of us are here for that. So please hear me and understand that be ready to work.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Be ready to work.
Commitment, the 2 C's.
I'm tearing up because it really makes me angry when people don't understand what we're trying to say.
You're ready. They're ready when they're ready. And if you're ready,
Go ahead,
we're
Dr.
here.
Hollis. I know.
We tell everyone it's a participation sport, and you have to help me to help you.
That's right. That's
All right.
right.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
you guys. Yes, we'll be here next Wednesday. So just let you know that health is wealth. And if you are clean inside, you're green inside, most likely.
Green
All right,
inside.
thank you so much for joining us.
Wasn't
Bye,
that
guys.
backwards?
Thank you, Blue Ivy. Thank you, Blue.
Bye. Thank you, Dr. Scott.
Bye.